Hey everyone, welcome to Jimmy John's Field for another exciting installment between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Alongside Jason Ross Jr., I'm Jenna Rose here on the USPBL Network. We always love when you join us digitally, but you have to come down and join us. This is probably one of my favorite days of the year because it is Italian-American Heritage Night. We've got two Italians behind the desk. Jason, you've had enough cappuccinos with me and enough cannolis to finally be at that point.
Buon pomeriggio, Jen.
Yes,
Was that good enough? Okay.
Buon pomeriggio, yes.
Well, I practiced 30 times on the way here. Shout out Google Translate.
Good afternoon. Yes, great work, Jason.
Yes.
So while we'll be talking some Italian tonight, we obviously have to talk baseball. Mammoths versus the Beavers. For the Beavers, right-hander A.J. Coleman gets the nod, and for the Mammoths, it's going to be left-hander Greg Lokinen.
Yeah, tasty pitching matchup today, G. When you examine Greg Lokinen to begin things, the Berkeley, Michigan native is off to a hot start as a starter, transition out of the bullpen and into a very consistent role as a starter on that Westside staff. 2.17 ERA entering his fourth start of 2021. Features a four-seam fastball, two-seam fastball, slider, curve, and change. The thing about Lokinen is he has boatloads of confidence going to any of the pitches that I just mentioned on any count and in any situation of a ball game. He has kept opposing lineups off balance all season long and has been really fun to watch. And G, when you talk about Lokinen, you can't finish the discussion without mentioning strikeout numbers. 47 Ks throughout the course of 29 innings pitched so far this season. That leads the USPBL in that particular category. Actually behind him in second place is A.J. Coleman of the Beavers.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting because when we look at Coleman, he's typically inducing ground balls as a pitcher, but we have to go back to Coleman's last start. It was against the Mammoths where he allowed 6 earned runs during 4 1/3 innings pitched, and he said heading into today that his goal is to get ahead in the counts and work batters more a little bit inside, and with that we're going to see from his arsenal his two-seamer, which is his bread and butter, as we've talked about in previous broadcasts. Also incorporates his changeup and sprinkles in his curve as well, but specifically when we're looking at Coleman, his goals, as we talked about before, is to make sure that he's ahead in counts, and we've seen a lot of great stuff from Coleman. He's one of the veterans here in the USPBL, so looking for that fresh start today. Now, Jason, let's take a look at that Mammoths lineup.
Yeah, it's a lineup that has been a part of this offensive trends of late in the USPBL. We saw 8 runs last night from the Hoppers. Now today again, looking at this Woolly Mammoths lineup, it'll be Logan Herring leading off, the lefty. He'll be doing the DH role today. Trent Bauer will play in left field, another lefty at the top 2 spots. That lineup, Lamar Briggs will bat third and play center field. It'll be McKinley batting cleanup and playing in right field. Jalen Smith will bat 5th and play the hot corner. Adrian Guzman will be at shortstop and bat 6th. Nick Caruso will bat 7th and do the catching, dipping into the bottom 3rd now. Spencer McGee will play at first base, the switch hitter, and bat 8th. Roberto Navarro rounds out the lineup, batting 9th and playing second base.
For the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, leading off is Connor Bagneski at center field. Batting second, playing shortstop, is going to be Keyshawn Lynch. Following Lynch is Christian LeBoy out in right field, batting third. Batting cleanup is going to be Roy Verdejo out in left field. Manning first base is going to be Travis McFarland, batting 5th. Batting 6th is going to be R.J. Williams Jr. manning the hot corner. Out at second base is going to be Nefi Mercedes, batting 7th. Batting 8th is going to be Collier Rutledge, who is our designated hitter for the Beavers. And last but not least is going to be Tyler Blom, who is catching for A.J. Coleman. We're looking forward to this matchup, but before that, Jason, we had some history happen here at USPBL. So, Jeremy, we're sending it to you.
We'll see. 2-2 on Curiel. It's a big pitch here. Swing and a miss! Jake Kinney into the history books! Another no-hitter in the USPBL. Well, now with the man that accomplished that feat here today, Jake Kinney joins us. And I guess the first thing on my mind, obviously, you know, maybe on your mind as well, 45 pitches was your longest outing here in the USPBL. Was it ever a conversation to bring you out, or were they just kind of leaving you alone in the dugout?
They were leaving me alone in the dugout and letting me do my thing and just trying to stretch me out as long as possible within reason.
And I think the remarkable thing about it, too, 12 strikeouts, obviously in 7 innings, it's quite the feat, but 12 strikeouts and to be under 100 pitches, you're really efficient out there as well.
Thank you. I was just trying to fill up the zone and pitch to contact, and luckily things were going my way. So I think that's just what made me a little bit more efficient, was throwing a lot of strikes.
How much do you consciously think about a moment like that? Have you ever been involved in a no-hitter before, or is that your first ever?
That is my first ever, and you definitely think about it, but it's something you got to shuffle to the back of your mind and make sure you're still focusing on the job at hand.
When you kind of stepped off the mound, I think a couple times, in the 7th inning, where obviously, the moment is wrapping up and everybody's kind of feeling it, your defenders on their toes. I mean, what are you telling yourself? Just stay with what you've done all game, or?
Absolutely. It's just an opportunity to refocus and not let the game speed up on you. If you can slow the game down and find some equilibrium, some comfort, I think that's been something that's been helping me find some personal successes, just going a little bit more methodically about my business, a little bit slower.
I think it's safe to say you'll probably stay in the rotation going forward, right?
I think so. I'll be starting on the first game of the doubleheader at 5:30 on Saturday. So far so good. I will stay in the rotation.
I know we've kind of talked about it off air in terms of your journey here and what you kind of went through, a late COVID cut in the minor leagues. But what does a moment like that feel like? It's got to feel full circle, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a good feeling to come up here when I was questioning continuing my career at all. I had lost my job and an injury, so it feels good to kind of get back into the swing of things and do something fun.
Yeah, for you were in contact with the USPBL for quite some time. Around April was when you were expecting to come here in May, but like you said, you got injured, and in between talking to Ed Campanella, you were also taking job interviews as well. When was it apparent that your baseball career would continue for you? Was it that kind of second offer to come back after the injury?
Yeah, I started to get back into shape just in case I was going to have an opportunity to come up here and play. And Malik Barrington, who just signed with the Twins, I played college baseball with him, so he continued to convince me to come up here. And I just had the sense that I wasn't ready to hang it up, so I decided, I can always go back and get a normal job, but you can't always go back and play professional baseball again. So I pulled the trigger and came up.
Absolutely. This is a pitching league in terms of adjustments and, the delivery value system. I don't know how much you've dived into that with Shane and Justin, but I guess how much have you?
I've gotten a medium scoop of the DVS so far. I really enjoy working with Shane and Justin, so no complaints, and, things have been rolling pretty smoothly.
How do you follow up what you just did? I mean, is that a thought at all or not really?
That is definitely the biggest thought on my mind, is how to, give yourself some credit in the next performance after that, because it doesn't matter anymore in my mind. In everyone else's mind, you still might think about it, but it matters more to me what I'm going to do in the next outing. You always got to think and plan ahead and prepare yourself.
And lastly, I think we kind of contemplated this on the air, but that was kind of a major dump in terms of the cooler, right? It wasn't just ice and water. Was it water bottles that got showered on you as well?
A couple water bottles, including my own, did end up hitting me in the head. So, but that's okay. That's a willing price to pay for a no-hitter. Absolutely.
Well, Jake, we thank you for stopping by here today. Best of luck going forward. It was great to watch what was a very cool moment on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Jake Kinney, a 7-inning no-hitter, 1 walk, 12 Ks on Sunday. We'll see him again on Saturday. It's Much Watch USPBL Network on Saturday. Be sure to tune in.
Don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time. Having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
USPBL Baseball on the USPBL Network is brought to you by AAA. Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this league to make this baseball game possible here tonight. Jeremy Otto now back alongside Jason Ross Jr. for the call here tonight. The starting lineups being announced quickly. Jason, some keys to tonight's game.
Well, Jeremy, it should be, as we mentioned in the open, a pretty tasty pitching matchup. Beavers and Willie Mammoths going head-to-head. On the Willie Mammoth side of things, you have Greg Lokinen, the lefty native of Berkeley, Michigan. Four-seam, two-seam, slider, curve, change. He'll go to all of those pitches with a boatload of confidence at any count and in any situation. So interested to see how these Beaver hitters react to that and how off balance they are, relatively speaking, because Lokinen has kept just about every lineup he's faced off balance so far, whether that's out of the bullpen or in a starting role. So interested to see the Beavers' offense and their reactions to that. But we'll dip into the national anthem first.
First pitch is next on the USPBL Network.
About the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Time for your pitcher comparison brought to you by Ascension here tonight. A.J. Coleman starting for the Beavers, Greg Lokinen on the other side for the Mammoths here tonight. Jason.
Yeah, we talked about Greg Lokinen prior to the national anthem break. On the side of A.J. Coleman, you can expect to see the two-seam curve changeup and four-seam fastball. At 6'8", he is tied for the tallest pitcher in the USPBL, so naturally the leverage that he has coming off the mound, and the viewpoint from the hitter's perspective is a little different because it appears as though just about everything is kind of coming down on a downward plane. So that can lead to a lot of weak contact, which is what we've seen throughout the course of this season. A lot of ground ball outs on the side of Coleman.
Greg Lokinen was actually doing that at a fairly high clip. Came into last game 41%. That's a bit down from his last couple starts to 35%. But both of these guys striking out. Hitters at a fairly high rate, but drawing the ground balls as well, which is pretty impressive considering what their average fastball velocity has been.
The top two strikeout pitchers in the USPBL, actually. Greg Lokinen with 47 Ks through 29 innings pitched, and then A.J. Coleman with 30 Ks throughout the course of 40 innings pitched. His 40 innings pitched are actually the most in the USPBL so far this season, and now he'll hope to kind of establish his spot as the ace of that Beavers staff.
Comes into play today with a 3.60 ERA, 9 walks to 30 strikeouts. Big game for this Beavers team as they look to kind of put together some of the momentum that they've had in the last couple weeks or so. These bats have certainly perked up a bit. The pitching has always been pretty solid.
If I could touch on one more key when it comes to Lokinen, actually, is hitters being selective, certainly with what pitches they swing at and what pitches they take in the zone, because he can get you to chase pretty often.
Logan Herring, Trent Bauer, and Lamar Briggs, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the first inning. Herring, quietly up to 297 in the average column. We've certainly seen better swings for him as the year has gone on. First pitch at 7:07 p.m. here today.
Coleman, one of the quicker, more rhythmic workers on the mound as well. Can expect something every 15 seconds or so.
Chopped right back to him. He can field his position pretty well as he athletically has to come off the mound. It seems like more often than not when he's out there.
Yeah, I think you mentioned, Jeremy, he has to field his position pretty often, but has experience as a shortstop, as a first baseman, as a third baseman. He's been all over the infield when you date back to his high school days prior to that, before shifting into a pitching role at a young age. But he's played all around the infield, so he has some instincts that maybe are a little more aware than your average pitcher.
84 degrees at game time. The real feel is 88. I think it's all of 88. Maybe higher than that. My car, obviously, those thermometers always kind of unreliable. When I hopped in at one point today, 103 is what it said.
It did somewhat feel like 103 when we did the pregame show earlier today.
Yeah, that sun can beat on you, and even some of the players and coaches mentioning on the field how heavy it was here today. Check the defense behind A.J. Coleman, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Roy Verdejo in left, Bagneski in center, LeBoy in right, McFarland and Williams Jr. on the corners, Mercedes and Lynch up the middle with Blom behind the dish tonight. 1-1 away. It hasn't been much cloud cover here today. There's a few more billowy clouds making their way left to right over the field as this game begins, but throughout batting practice, not much of that is all, just sporadic here or there. There they are. 2-1. Chopper that's going to hang in fair. McFarland picks it up, and that's 2 soft ground balls, increasing that 45% mark coming into today.
The narrative continues in the beginning of this A.J. Coleman start, and that was a breaking ball that he went to induce the ground ball contact. Trent Bauer, typically a very good breaking ball hitter, hitting 312s off, off breaking balls so far this year. So this is best on best. Again, Coleman, very well consider him the ace of this Beavers staff at the moment. And then Lamar Briggs, perhaps the hottest hitter on this Woolly Mammoths lineup. He has just continued to hit and hit throughout the month of July.
First pitch to Briggs, a first pitch changeup in for strike one.
Good breaking ball hitting team overall. This Woolly Mammoths squad. Smith hitting .294 off breaking balls so far this year.
Now the 0-1, fastball away at 88.
Coleman loves to go to that curve. We'll talk about that throughout the course of the outing. Ramped it up a bit there with 88. Well, this is an interesting matchup. These two have faced each other throughout the season. This is a big pitch here at a 1-1 count.
And we've kind of seen that fastball velocity just subtly tweak up in terms of the averages. It's up about 1.5% from last year, but for AJ, if he keeps incrementally increasing that and it gets to a consistent 90, 91, maybe even touching 92 at times, that might just be the difference from him getting a really big look and maybe a look of need in terms of a guy like AJ, but he's right there. I mean, the walks per 9 are down like you want them to be, and down compared to last year. It was around 3 last year. Comes in at 2, and 2 to 2.5 is kind of the benchmark on where you look for pitchers where you want them to be at. Anything sub 2 or 1 is great. And that's been driven up just slightly lately by the 3-walk performance in his last start. He just hasn't done that this year. His first time since his first start, which he said he had a few jitters just on opening day. But that's the trust that the USPBL has had in him. He was kind of told on exit last year, look, you're going to be one of our guys on the pitching staff. You're a veteran. The 1-0. Fastball grooved in at 87. And one thing that kind of points to, yeah, he's the leader of the staff. You know, the numbers speak for themselves, and his experience in the league and overall coming out of a Division I college in Cincinnati as well. Here's the 1-1. In. Good stop by Blom, but often you see these managers because there's no, quote, pitching coaches that dress. Shane McCaddy, Justin Orenduff kind of work with the pitchers on the side, and they're here most days. But in terms of pitching coaches during the game and trying to make adjustments, sometimes you see managers go out, but often you see the veteran player, the guy who has a firm grasp on what DVS is and what tweaks that they are making and what others could be making as well. And AJ's that guy for the Beavers, usually trotting out of the dugout when he's not pitching, of course.
The veteran leadership, you can just hear it in his voice when you talk to him. We saw Miguel Sereno take that role yesterday for Utica, emerging out of the dugout in situations where that's needed.
3-1 is in for strike 2. Just one of those guys that has a firm grasp on the game. And that's always fun to catch up with the minds. Obviously, his father brought him up in it. And the front offices of several Major League Baseball teams. Big pitch with the runner moving. McKinley spoils. He's the 4th batter to the plate here in the first inning after 2 fairly easy ground balls that went right back to AJ and a ground ball over to McFarland. Full count again. Shifted foul.
You mentioned the mentality of A.J. Coleman. He, in one of my most recent conversations with him, said that he loves the art of pitching, baseball in general, because it's a team sport, but it's filled with wonderful individual matchups. Pitcher versus hitter. He really thrives in the mental side of that, the individual battles. This time here was a 3-1 count. 1 strike away, though.
Running lead for Briggs. It doesn't matter as he wasn't being paid attention to with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And Trevor McKinley goes down swinging. Coleman does a nice job stranding the 2-out single by Lamar Briggs in this game. I'm going to head over and see our Thrifty Florist sweethearts of the game here at the ballpark. Proud to have Thrifty Florist back as one of our partners this year. So section 101 is where our sweetheart of the game is located here today. To our right, JJ will present her flowers. It's Shay who receives sweetheart of the game. Brought to you by Thrifty Florists. Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
Attention Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
Greg Lokinen, the local Berkeley product, will step to the mound for the 9th time this year, 4th as a starter. Looking to shake off 2 rougher outings compared to where he's been. And it's just kind of surprising to see him walk 5 batters his last start, 6 before that, just because he's dialed in. Certainly coming out of the bullpen, earning his way into the starting rotation. But if you're going to bet for him to continue to struggle, I don't think it's the best one to place.
No, consistency prior to those walks was really fun to watch. Again, as you mentioned, 11 over the past 2 when it comes to the free passes. But has this knack for wiggling out of tough situations and typically making it through 4 or 5, if not 6 innings as a starter. Out of the pen, he was just cruising. Naturally, it felt as though he needed to shift into that starter's role, and has done that for the most part very well so far. 2.17 ERA throughout the course of these 4 starts.
He will face Connor Bagneski, Keyshawn Lynch, and Christian LeBoy. Your Zach Hart Agency 3-men due up. And let's take a peek at the defense behind Lokinen today, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Bauer in left, Briggs in center, McKinley is in right, McGee and Smith on the corners, Navarro and Guzman up the middle. Caruso catching the pitches here today as well.
Jeremy, we have an Italian-American leading off on Italian-American night, Connor Bagneski.
Fitting, right?
Right.
I had the nice Italian plate before the game here today. Some pasta, some chicken piccata. First pitch is up high to Connor Bagneski. Just had that wedding feel to it as well.
I love that. It's festive.
Now the 1-0. Grooved in for strike 1. The fastball at 89. Average fastball for Lokinen around 87. He's topped out at 90 so far this year. Checks into play with a 2.17 ERA. And despite walking 6 batters, you think right away that his run count must have been up in a 5-inning start. He did give up 3 runs, 3 of them earned. So not horrible. McGee going over to range for that one. Lokinen having some trouble, and he's off the first base bag when he caught that baseball. And in the end, Bagneski will reach.
Showed some athleticism to sprint over and cover the bag, but may have just slipped slightly as the ball was getting into his glove. That was close.
He ruled that a hit on the board. Now 1 hit for either side. Keyshawn Lynch rolls to the plate here. Always got to think, is Bagneski moving at first base as soon as he gets on? First pitch outside to Keyshawn. Connor Bagneski 6 for 7 in stolen base attempts so far. I think the Beavers kind of recognize his speed and they're okay with giving him the green light most of the time, but after the last throw out done at second base, I think they just want him to be cognizant of when is the best time to go. And versus a lefty, it might be a bit tougher to try to swipe a bag here. Second time he's seen Lokinen in back-to-back weeks.
Against a lefty, I mean, you have to have no hesitation in that first move towards second base. It needs to be timed up without any hesitation.
Bagneski stands straight up. A couple hop-step moves and kind of crouches on his way down to second as he stays at first again. 1-2 on Lynch.
Bagneski has wonderful strength in his lower body. He deliberately develops that speed, played hockey growing up. Has his own gym schedule outside of the practice schedules here. Works on his entire body, so really good athlete overall.
Running now, Lynch trying to protect himself with 2 strikes as well. Connor will have to wheel back. Not much against A.J. Coleman in the first inning, just a single hit after he retired the first 2 batters easily. What can they do against Lokinen in the first? Already a hit on the board, the 1-2 high.
Rarely ever does Lokinen allow a leadoff hit, let alone the first couple of batters to reach. Lynch trying to find a groove. The batting average would tell you there hasn't been much consistency this year, but he's made a concerted effort to work on some things of late with that swing.
Running again, didn't look like the most comfortable jump for Bagneski as he kind of stutter step halfway to second, but regardless, he steals base number 7 on the year.
He's fast. He really is. I mean, talked about the work that he does in the gym. A lot of lateral sprints and flexibility is a key for him when it comes to what he does in his off time. Does yoga with his personal trainer down in Florida.
So 1 out in the inning as Lynch goes down. He was a little confused on that, I believe, as he was still walking to the dugout. Curveball by LeBoy there. Christian LeBoy has his average up to 242. Some good moments in the last couple weeks at the plate. This isn't a bat overall that the USPBL was hoping would perk up. Starting to find it a bit more as his at-bats increase. 88-mile-an-hour fastball in for strike 2.
I like the pitch sequencing so far here against LeBoy from Lokinen. First pitch, breaking ball, and then ramps it up to 88.
Big pitch here, looking for the second out. Can a corn to the right side here. Can McGee get to it? Fading, he does. Trying to advance his Bagneski, and he will circle into third base.
Showing off the wheels once again, there's Bagneski, but on the part of Lokinen, keeping hitters off balance, disrupting timing is what he's done all year long, and that time, again, you start off with the breaking pitch, speed it up, and all of a sudden the hitter is either a little too out in front on the breaking pitch, maybe a tad late when it comes to the fastball, and that induces the weak contact and the pop-ups and the ground-outs.
And a good 3-4 steps down the third base line already. That's not a ball you usually look to advance on, but obviously with the speed of Bagneski and the way McGee had to really wheel over his shoulder and all that foul territory over there, it almost feels probably like a right fielder throwing to third base in that scenario. Fly ball to left, carrying Bauer back to the track. He looks up, it's gone. Roy Verdejo hits his 4th of the year.
All 4 of those homers have come over the left field fence. Found a pitch over the heart of the plate, timed it up very well, and brings in Bagneski with the 2-run shot.
Now watch out if Roy Verdejo gets in a little bit of a groove in terms of his extra base hits. We saw him compete in the home run derby for a reason, certainly.
First baseman number 22, Travis McFarland.
For Verdejo, I'm just staying short to the ball, point A to point B, in his words. Not chasing pitches that the pitchers are trying to make you swing at. So being more selective has been the key to the elevation and success of late for him versus June, where he was maybe doing a little too much free swinging. Now it's been more discipline. Nice professional approach. Leads to a 4th homer of the season.
Strike 1 to Travis McFarland. So the league leader by far in home runs, and it's been that way really since the get-go, Drew Galassi. 4 for Childress, 4 for McFarland, 4 for Briggs, 4 for Aberrett. Now he's quietly sneaking up, 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Now 4 for Roy Verdejo. Oh, 2 high.
There's some power in this lineup. We all remember the offensive drought that they went through in the month of June. Prior to that, though, remember that 5 home run game, which tied for the most in a USPBL game. So there's some pop in these bats, and certainly doesn't lack with Travis McFarland.
Well, we talked about no cloud cover. Now it's the opposite. Some heavenly high clouds here. 3-2 fouled back to the screen. They're moving at a decent clip left to right. 3-2 on Travis McFarland. Kind of blocking that sunlight, which was a big factor to begin the game. Curveball may have hit him. Doesn't matter, it's a walk anyway. So with 2 runs already in, with 2 outs, the inning will continue for Ron Williams Jr.
Opposing batters entering today's start against Greg Loken, hitting just 123 first time through the order. Maybe first time through the order is naturally where you might see a number like that, but with Loken, what really stands out is that number goes down second and third time through the order, which is not normal. Loken on a level that has been very high throughout the season, which makes what we're seeing right now all the more rare.
And given this is also a guy who began the season dominant on the bullpen, really throwing 1-2 innings max. Not that he doesn't have experience even this year as a starter, coming right from college from Georgia Gwinnett, where he made 26 career starts in a couple seasons after JUCO. But still, I think that's a very impressive stat. We'll see if it continues once these hitters continue to track him, obviously, as a starting pitcher. Williams Jr. way ahead in the count here, the 2-0. Slicing fastball away. So the 12th walk in 3 games for Lokinen, standing on first base, hoping that he can strand them here. Fastball does find the zone.
Second consecutive 3-ball count from Lokinen, trying to battle his way back here. Still very much a hitter's advantage for Ron Williams Jr. at 3-1.
Looks at a curveball outside. So this inning will continue for the Beavers now.
The second baseman, number 1, Nathan Mercedes.
And now Nathan Mercedes looking to do some damage. Nick Caruso with a short visit. That looks says it all, I think, for Greg Lokinen. Frustrated with the way this one has started. Decent cut by Nafee as he whittles it back to the screen. Was able to catch up with Shane McCaddy, the pitching coordinator here at the USPBL before the game today, and talk about both of these guys. he thought that Lokinen was just a bit too aggressive at the beginning of the game. He likes the aggressiveness, but in the end that made him a bit nitpicky and looking to be a little bit perfect. And he said, look, Greg is aware of that. And Shane even had a conversation with him after the game and said, hey, do you think you can, you know, kind of master that same tempo and bring it and still be effective going forward? And he said yes. So we thought that was a positive sign. 1-1 is popped up. Just doesn't want him to be, you know, try to be that perfect with his stuff because it's good. We've seen that throughout the year so far. 7 batters come to the plate against Greg here in the first inning. 2-run score off the fly ball to left center field by Roy Verdejo, his 4th homer of the year, making it 2-zip.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council. I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Well, this time, always a fun time to kind of track who's on the move and who's staying put in terms of major league teams. We told you about Joey Gallo here today. There's some intricacies of that deal still being finalized. Bottom line, the Rangers are going to get a load of prospects from the Yankees for Joey Gallo, and now it's looking like Rizzo is going to make his way to New York, according to a source on MLB.com.
Rizzo has a New York personality, Jeremy, and it'll fit the Big Apple and hopefully fit that lineup that will get some added pop.
He's just one of those guys that, you know, you kind of look sideways if you're a Cubs fan and think, wow, you know, Rizzo's gone, because he's obviously one of the cornerstones to your first World Series title in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, they're unloading on that side of Chicago, the north side.
MLB.com also has an article here, Padres deep in talks to get Scherzer. Interesting.
I did see that. Apparently it's close to being a done deal.
A lot of guys on the move, always fun to track.
Remember, it was around this time last year they picked up one of my favorite pitchers, Mike Clevenger. They're all in.
0-1 away, 1-1. And that's kind of a team like we were talking about yesterday in terms of building from within, but also signing guys, trading for guys. That's kind of how they've done it. And they've taken a long time. I'm sure for Padres fans it feels that way to do it. But at the same time, they're building quite the franchise in San Diego once again. 1-2 on Jalen Smith playing third base here today. Smith, Guzman, Caruso, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the second. The only base runner against Coleman in the first was a 2-out single by Lamar Briggs, and then he struck out Trevor McKinley after a hefty battle. Smith has his average up to 250. He's collected 5 hits in his last 4, hitting the ball hard as this has popped up. Mercedes jogging in for the first out. Certainly fun to catch up with Jake Kinney before the game here today. And the thing that really stuck out, I talked to Jake, obviously, and then Ed Campanella kind of off mic as well. And those two didn't really have any discussions in terms of, if this happens, you're coming out. I think it was understood by Jake if he gave up a hit at any point in that game, which he came close on one play. It was ruled an error at around the 4th, 5th inning. But, he said, look, if I was giving up a hit, I was probably coming out of that game because originally the plan was for him to go 4. A guy who had not thrown over 50 pitches in a start this year in the USPBL. Wow, what a tumbling play by Connor Bagneski in right center field. Losing the hat and all. He just does everything, doesn't he?
Got a wonderful jump on that ball, but a sprawling play. Just absolutely gorgeous, as you mentioned, doing it both offensively and defensively right now. Such an athlete, and he couldn't have been on display any better right there.
Take a second look. Had to close on that quickly, make that decision. Maybe made that decision a little easier as he peeked over his shoulder and saw Christian LeBoy backing him up. Probably would have got that baseball if it squeaked by.
Yeah, Bagneski grew up playing second base, but plays a good center field as well.
1-0 fastball in for strike one. And that's the versatility that's talked about all throughout the league from the player development staff. Being able to play multiple positions, but being able to play them so well as he has in second and short. And there's not a lot of parallels really between those two. It's not like we're talking about second, short, third, or left field, right field.
No, you hear multiple players talk about the adjustment factor that goes into that, taking ground balls versus playing in the outfield.
Nice curveball ripped off by A.J. Coleman. He works a 1-2-3 inning. Here in the second, his team's still up 2.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Greg Lokinen back for his second inning of work through to 7 batters in the first. The big splash. The 2-run home run to left center field by Roy Verdejo. Did walk 2 more batters after that. McFarland and Williams Jr. Then got Navy Mercedes to fly out to right field. 2 things obviously stuck out about the top of the second inning. Number 1, A.J. Coleman looked on point. Good rhythm to what he has done so far. Great curveball to cap off a 1-2-3 inning. And obviously the Connor Bagneski diving, tumbling catch in right center field.
Certainly establishing his best pitches early.
That's Miss Teen Utica here today. I believe also a member of the dance crew as well.
Yeah. Actually had the pleasure of speaking with Beatrice earlier. She's aiming for Miss Teen USA. And as Jeremy just told me during the break there, does some work around here in this area, but you can vote for her. We'll get you the information on that in just a bit.
Collier Rutledge, Tyler Blom, Connor Bagneski, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men, 2 up. Well, how often is it that we see Connor Bagneski lead things off, whether it's a game, he's often leading off at the top of the lineup, but even outside of that, when he leads off an inning other than the first, where he walks, gets a hit, then steals a base. His success rate in scoring runs, I'd like to see that stat when he gets on, but he has now 9 coming into this game, hitting .468. Just one of those guys that you know is going to wreak a little havoc when he gets on. So these clouds getting darker, a little bit of a breeze blowing in. You can feel the cooler air coming in. There is some rain in the area. We hope it stays away. 1-2, swing and a miss. Nothing heavy, but it has certainly affected the brightness. It's affected the wind patterns, and it's affected the temperature.
It's definitely been sporadic in this state over the past couple of weeks. And now the gray clouds are starting to hover over Utica a bit. Kind of a deja vu feeling for you, Jeremy, from last weekend.
Hopefully
having to take cover. And
yeah, hopefully Toto doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Tyler Blom looks this one into the glove for ball one. Gonna step out of the box. It was quite the week for the Beavers in terms of coverage. Blom obviously had his moment that pinned off the top of the head. And it was just one of those moments where some people had to take an extra beat to actually find what happened. And I overheard a discussion that said one of the umpires actually thought that it just landed foul. Because it went so far off his head to McFarland down the first base line. 2 up, 2 down, and 2 strikeouts for Loken in his second and third of the game. But you have that, obviously, which makes number 8 on SportsCenter's top plays. And then you have the Kinney no-hitter in their very next game. And you add on what these hitters have started to do, breaking out of their shell a bit. LeBoy, Verdejo, Lynch starting to find some green grass lately. Blom trying to join that category as well. Beavers looking to trend upwards.
At least 4 runs in each of their last 4 games now.
Fly ball swinging to left center field, curving away from Briggs there. Takes a funny hop, and look out. Bagneski into second base with a stand-up double. He does it again, Jason.
Another hard hit ball. Right back up the middle, and that was another ball that kind of hung over the heart of the plate. Timed it up well, but he is really seeing the baseball well right now. Just what you want out of your leadoff hitter on base in consecutive ABs.
There you see the trees and the flag blowing in. The pennants are blowing out to left field. The clouds literally hovering over the stadium are getting much darker.
We can feel the wind kind of coming in the press box now.
It's just a matter of, will this thing kind of skirt by us? Technically, according to the radar, it should already be raining. When we were in the break, that was kind of what it looked like, but we'll see. 0-1 on Keyshawn Lynch. Fastball high. There they are. And matter of fact, you really look at that, that looks like rain, doesn't it? Kind of off in the distance.
It does.
It's that funny look where you can be somewhere and kind of driving and then look off in the distance and you see rain, but you don't feel it, or it's not right above you. 1-2 on Keyshawn Lynch now. Beavers looking to get some more runs here in the second inning. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin it. Tough pitch as he busts him inside, but able to take it is Keyshawn. 3-1 with 2 outs.
By the way, Bagnetsky now with 4 consecutive multi-hit games against Woolly Mammoths pitching. So he seems to like facing the guys in blue.
Off the noggin of Caruso. So full count now still on Keyshawn. It is the 4th full count that Lokinen has had to deal with so far tonight, and here comes the rain. And the fans,
it opens
some
up.
enjoying it, some scrambling away. I might enjoy it for a few seconds as well, the way this day started.
I was wondering, would you hang around for a sec? Would you pop up the umbrella, or would you scurry out? I may be an umbrella pop-up kind of person and then hop out, but it's coming down.
The good thing is it shouldn't last very long, according to what we're looking at, but in this hot and humid weather, kind of anything can pop up. Probably will be out of the area by at the latest 8 o'clock, 7:46 Eastern right now. It probably feels pretty good on most of the people who scurry out of the stands. There's only so much you can take, I guess, before you're soaked, though. We are officially in a delay, my goodness. Coming down even harder and right at everybody now. We might have to close the windows here in the booth. This is a tough tarp pole as well. Credit to the Scots grounds crew here today. One for the ages as they try to battle the wind and the rain. There's a lot of hands out there. Many familiar faces to us, some that don't work the grounds crew. So thank them for keeping this game intact overall. We'll have runners on first and second, and Christian LeBoy up when we get back at some point when this game resumes. LeBoy will have to get with another bat up there. The players now scrambling out of the dugouts. There's no connection straight to the clubhouse here at Jimmy John's Field, so everybody running for the exits at this point. We'll have some updates for you hopefully soon on the USPBL Network. Right now, 2-0 Beavers, looking to add to that in a moment.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Attention Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Well, we appreciate you sticking around here on the USPBL network. Grounds crews you see still working on the field, still a good amount of puddles on the warning tracks and foul territory to this point. It was kind of a random rain, but it's something you expect in the hot and humid weather that we've really experienced all day. You step outside, it's like it's a new day. And we haven't even hit nightfall yet. 8:22 p.m. Eastern time, much cooler. We kind of felt that blowing in as this rain delay kind of unfolded, Jason.
Certainly did get kind of it sped up on us, Jeremy. You noted that there was some weather in the vicinity, and then all of a sudden it got a little cooler after it was about 90 degrees earlier today. We felt the wind coming in. Gray, ominous clouds began to hover over the field, and all of a sudden it opened up on us. I saw two fans waited out right next to each other in what was a pretty heavy rain. So kudos to those two fans that stuck it out, and now people are beginning to filter back in as you get a look at our Scott's ground crew that once again is doing an awesome job.
Josh Michael White commenting on Facebook 27 minutes ago. He says, "Boo rain," in all caps. I agree, Josh. Paul says it's pouring in St. Clair Shores, not too far away from the ballpark here today. Phil said, "When I was a kid, we played baseball in the rain and loved it. I wish pro ball players did the same." I think the large concern at this point for not doing that just is field conditions and what that looks like, the next couple days going forward. I'm sure some guys would probably do it if they could. The situation we have, Christian LeBoy just shattered his bat. Literally, the half left side of the barrel went into pieces down the third base line before the rain started to come. That was after two straight strikeouts by Greg Lokinen to begin the second inning. Gave up a double to Connor Bagneski. He's still standing on second base when the play resumes. Keyshawn Lynch will be on first because of the walk. 50 pitches deep for Greg Lokinen. Had a chance to catch up with Taylor Jellikowski quickly here in the rain delay. He said Greg Lokinen will go out there as long as time allows, and this doesn't last too much longer. I don't think rain will be a factor to resuming play here today. It's just whenever the field is ready and everybody's warmed up and ready to go. Neither Greg Lokinen or A.J. Coleman have really thrown anything serious in terms of warm-ups here, so you'd think they'd be given at least some time to warm up once again. There's a look at the Beavers dugout. Connor Bagneski walking away. What a day he's had so far. Single-double. Really been the catalyst again to this Beavers offense. So stick around. We'll have updates as soon as we can get them to you here on the USPBL network. Right now, it's a 2-0 lead for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Stick with us. Jeremy Otto and Jason Ross Jr. back with you here. A rain delay of around 45 minutes, paused at 7:45 with a first pitch of 7:07 p.m. here today. 0-2 the count to Christian the boy, as that's whittled foul. Runners on first and second, 2 outs because of the first 2 strikeouts for Rutledge and Blom in this inning for Greg Lokinen. It looked like a really good start after a 7-batter inning in the first, which plated 2 runs off the home run by Roy Verdejo to left center. Here's the 0-2 again. Popped him foul down the right field line. Well, we appreciate all of you sticking with us here on the USPBL Network, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. Chime in and tell us what you did in that rain delay. Maybe you grabbed a snack, watched a couple episodes of something. You had time, I guess, to do that, 45 minutes. The rain that kind of came from nowhere here in the Metro Detroit area. Fly ball to right field, carrying on McKinley. Now spinning inward for the 3rd out of the 2nd inning here. Yes, it's only the 2nd inning at 8:34 Eastern Time. 2-0 Beavers.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council. I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Well, some more MLB trade news buzzing while we were off the air in that rain delay as well. Max Scherzer and Trey Turner sounds like are fairly close to heading to the Los Angeles Dodgers, of all places. How about that? Dodgers stacking up.
We initially thought earlier today that the direction was heading towards San Diego. But a little north of there, maybe at Dodger Stadium, will be the new home of Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. A couple of big-name assets on the move.
Yeah, Trey Turner just 28 years old, hitting .322 this year, slugging .521 with 18 home runs. He's already one away from his career best. Had 19 twice in 2018 and 2019. Meanwhile, A.J. Coleman has survived the rain delay as well. And that 45-minute to an hour benchmark is kind of the window right where it becomes interesting in terms of whether players come back or whether they don't.
Coleman has a nice, calm, cool demeanor on days of his starts. You typically see him in the ballpark with his headphones on, but I mean, he'll step aside and chat with you still, so you wonder how the rhythm, the timing of a pitcher that's so calculated on the day of a start gets affected by stepping aside for and trying to pick up where you left off. And as you mentioned, Jeremy, Coleman off to a nice start here and 2 runs of insurance with which to work.
Well, Greg Lokinen certainly did what he needed to do. Stranding first and second with 2 outs, with a fly out to right with 2 runs already in this game. McGee reaching outwards. It's his first at-bat of the game. He's got to feel pretty cold. And there are not any cages underneath the ballpark. I'm sure some of the players went out to left field maybe to take a few cuts. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Another nice curveball. That's exactly how he ended the second inning, which feels like an eternity ago. But 2 solid curveballs from Coleman. He has now struck out 3. Talking to Shane McCandy about AJ before the game here today. Shane, the pitching coordinator at the USPBL. He thinks there's a few more miles an hour in the tank for AJ. We've kind of talked about his subtle increase in velocity already, just looking at this year to last year. Says he's just looking for that next gear from AJ, but he still emphasized, hey, he's night and day from where he was this year to last year from a timing perspective. That's something we heard a lot from the pitching staff talk about, what adjustments Coleman was making. Boy, that one had more slider action to the outside, but it was the change from Coleman from strike one. Fastball, curveball change, the arsenal. There's another. Just a little bit further out, trying to see if he can draw that call again. So far, so good, though, from what he's brought to the table here in the third inning. Chopped foul 1 and 2 on Norberto Navarro. Logan Herring, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. He's the top of the order. Only 1 base runner has reached in this game. That was a single back in the first inning. One, 2 away. Coleman really has had to deal with a couple long layoffs. Obviously nothing like 45 minutes, but 7 batters. And what felt like a pretty prolonged bottom of the first inning against Loken and had him sit for a while. Didn't phase him as he got the hitters 1, 2, 3. Wow, that one start nearly at the belly of Navarro, swum all the way down to the dirt.
Navarro has been in that 9 spot throughout the vast majority of the season for the Mammoths. Not there because of any struggles, but more so because they know he can hit, and they want him to be able to turn that lineup over. Hit .342 at Weber College this past season, so the numbers are there.
3-2, that's off of Blom. And also something in that rain delay, what most people thought would be the case, Cade Cunningham going number 1 overall to the Detroit Pistons. That franchise hoping that it can be a big boost to them going forward and in their rebuilding process. Nothing like a first pick. Here's the 3-2 on the corner for strike 3. The 4th strikeout here tonight for A.J. Coleman as he barreled that running fastball away from the righty Navarro.
And maybe give some credit to his catcher, Tyler Blom, as well for helping steal a strike there on the outside corner, but a beautifully placed pitch. We've seen that from Coleman all season long. Pitch on any count and keeps hitters off balance.
You know what the temperature is now?
What's that?
74 degrees.
It was 93 earlier.
74 degrees, night and day from where we started. And at first you're like, oh, what's these clouds coming in? And they looked like just billowy clouds, but it was getting darker, and then it kept getting darker, and then there was nearly black clouds kind of ranging over our heads. And then the radar said it's raining. It wasn't at that moment, but it did maybe a couple minutes later. There is no such thing as a Utica bubble this year, I guess, but maybe nowhere.
19 degrees
state.
worth of, yeah.
Mercedes converting the second consecutive 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Coleman. He says, delay what? picking up right where I left off. That's now 7 straight outs. It's your fifth third out of the game here in inning number 3. Time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union here tonight. There he is. That would have been very helpful earlier, probably still. I'm sure the umpire is hydrated a bit. And we have a couple questions coming in. What happened to the center field camera? Unfortunately, the rain and the knocked that out equation. So we hope to maybe reinvigorate that throughout the game at some point. But for now, that is why you're not seeing that center field angle. Time for your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot here today. We have a University of Michigan. Buzz is going to race our fine kid here today. So Buzz the Beaver on his way to second base. I was riding the elevator with him earlier in the rain delay. What a blazing start. Gonna maybe run right into Buzz. Check out that. Clock him, Willie Martin. You might just want to bring him on. Touches home plate, your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot here. Goes to the kid once again. Roy Verdejo, Travis McFarland, Ron Williams Jr., your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the 3rd inning against Greg Lokinen. Used just a couple pitches to get Christian LeBoy out. He had an 0-2 count heading out of the rain delay with runners on 1st and 2nd, and got a fly out to the right fielder, Trevor McKee. Well, Verdejo had the big swing back in the 1st inning, his 4th home run of the year. Boy, today is not the day to have white cleats, is it?
No, and take a chunk of that wet mounds dirt out of there to get some grip.
First pitch to Verdejo is skied foul over our heads. All the heads turning in the stands, too, as they watch that go out of play.
Verdejo turned some heads earlier with that homer. Starting to find consistency in his approach and his confidence at the plate. Consistency in his pregame routine as well with the energy drinks. Wonder if he went back to the cotton candy today or if it was some sort of fruit punch flavor. Our sideline reporter, Jenna Rose, went with the cotton candy energy drink today. Roy Verdejo obviously was pretty juiced up. Showed off the power to left as some fans show off there.
You see that reaction when she got that ball? Like,
yeah,
I got that ball. Here's the 1-2. Again, chiseled foul. McFarland, who comes after Verdejo, walked back in that 1st inning. Ron Williams Jr., 3 more walks surrendered by Lokinen here tonight. Kind of out of his form in the last 3 games in terms of the walks to strikeouts. His K per 9 is still off the chain, 15, compared to a walk per 9 of 5 coming into play here today. If he sustains 15 or even, 10, 11, and maybe gets that walk rate down to 3, he's going to be a very attractable arm, maybe the next coming out of this league. 2.5 or below is kind of the you want to be in the walk rate, and there's just a poke past Greg Lokinen where nobody was in the middle of the diamond time. And now Travis McFarland will try to put a charge into a ball here. He had a 3-2 walk back in the first inning.
And Verdejo just timed up a fastball there, right up the middle. McFarland, for a long time, had the highest batting average on this Beavers team. Now, multiple players beginning to join the party and find consistency with him.
Connor Bagneski happened as well.
Yes.
Single double again in this game. He came in at 462. High fly ball to left field, chasing Bauer back. Does it have enough length? Not quite. So a loud and high out that carried 339 feet to left center field. And now Ron Williams Jr. will find his way to the plate. We've kind of had a mixture of line drive home runs and really looping fly ball / home runs so far. We saw a little bit of everything yesterday. Greg Vaughn Jr. poked for one. Felix Aberrett had two. One line drive, one high skying one. Williams Jr. looks at a first pitch changeup for strike one.
Williams Jr. has really struggled to see breaking balls so far this year. Also has struggled overall against the lefties. However, reached base earlier via the walk.
The 0-1. Looped foul again. 0-2 on Ron Williams Jr. It's Kevin in a Unicorns hat there. Met him in between pitches. Fan that watches us quite a bit from Royal Oak. So we thank you, Kevin, for watching us as Ron Williams Jr. K's for the second out here in the third inning. Now Nafi Mercedes will be the last chance here in the third inning.
There's another one of those breaking balls that I mentioned could potentially exploit Ron Williams Jr. Lokinen goes to the curveball with 2 strikes, one of his more effective pitches. Hoping to wrap it up here.
Four strikeouts for Luukkonen, same mark that Coleman has buried thus far. Verdejo leaning and just able to scurry back there. It seems like more teams in the MLB are kind of acting quicker, huh? Deadline not for a couple more days. Really intrigued to see if that Scherzer and Turner deal does go through.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Tigers stand pat, what goes on there. World of free agency is really popping right now. Red Wings and NHL free agency making some moves.
Verdejo scurrying back again, 0-1. The count on Nafi Mercedes. Flew out to right field back in the first inning for the third out. Swing and a miss. Franz Wagner, the local college product at least from Michigan, just got drafted by the Orlando Magic. A lot happening.
And Magic also picked up Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga.
Fly ball slicing its way to right center field. Briggs is over to pick up out number 3 here in the first inning. A leadoff single by Roy Verdejo stranded as Greg Luukkonen tries to button up his day a bit more here at the end of this one.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough, Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. To your heart.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
A.J. Coleman, 44 pitches deep in his outing as he throws here in the fourth after the 45-minute rain delay as well. 7 hitters retired in a row. He has 4 strikeouts. One of the longer at-bats we've seen so far today was the 3-2 strikeout to Trevor McKinley. That was to end the first. And that's also where he gave up his lone base runner this game. It was a single.
Coleman looks nice, calm, and comfy right now. On the mounds, really established one of his better pitches early in that curveball. And we've seen him utilize the slider as well. I spoke to a couple of players this morning and asked them what pitch in the USPBL is one that maybe you're trying to improve on seeing. And 2 really seem to be the common theme. It's the slider and the changeup from right-handers. Those 2 pitches in particular have given hitters fits so far throughout the league, in a league where the vast majority of batters, especially right-handed hitters, have struggled to see the breaking balls.
Trent Bauer, Lamar Briggs, Trevor McKinley, your Zach Hart agency 3-men due up here in the 4th inning. 2 straight, 1, 2, 3 innings, where he has struck out 3 of his 4 batters. First pitch, the fastball away to Trent Bauer. Coleman throws that fastball 67% of the time, 24% on the curve, 9% on the changeup. 1-0, another slicer. Verdejo in his tracks for out number 1.
That's a big first out because Trent Bauer is a player who has been relatively consistent of late, hitting .312 against breaking balls so far this year. And as a lefty facing a right-handed pitcher, a little bit easier to see, for example, that slider, the changeup out of the hand of a right-hander versus a lefty. So that was a big first out. Now to bring up a right-handed hitter in Lamar, who isn't an easy out either.
He had a single back in the first, the only man to reach against AJ here tonight. So you wonder what the strategy is here for Ed Campanella and AJ Coleman. He was hoping for 6 here today, but you got to factor in the rain delay. Not exactly sure how much AJ threw during the rain delay. It didn't seem like much. I think Lokinen threw probably a few more warm-up tosses in the outfield than Coleman did. But if you're AJ, you're like, gosh, I wish that delay wouldn't have happened. 2-0, fastball in at 87 for strike 1. The last appearance for Coleman on the 22nd versus very Mammoths team. Gave up 6 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks to 2 strikeouts. We told you earlier, that's only the second time that he's given up 3 walks in a game this season. The other was the first game of the year. In fact, 3 starts with no walks, 3 with just 1, contributing to a solid 2 walk per 9 ratio so far. The changeup that's looped foul.
Pitch sequencing here. Saw back-to-back fastballs. Changed eye levels on those fastballs after falling behind 2-0. Even up the count at 2-2, then goes to the changeup.
That's golfed on the ground and through. Wow, what a weird play. Keyshawn Lynch did pick it up in the end, had no chance to get Lamar Briggs. And when you're hot, a lot of things like that will fall. Lamar continues to swing. Good bat.
That's a good piece of two-strike hitting. Lamar Briggs has told me, I'm not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and we saw that on display there.
We have word from the baseball operations staff that the time limit has been adjusted according to the delay. So the new 2.5-hour mark would be 10:25 here today, unless 9 innings are played out. So something to keep in mind going forward. Another snap throw over to first, and again, Briggs is back in diving. Verdejo in the outfield, Connor Bagneski to his right, LeBoy in right field as well. 1-0. Fastball that has decent movement on it, low again. Appeal to swing. He did not go. It's McFarland on first. Second, Lynch at shortstop, and Ron Williams Jr. at third. Your defense brought to you by AAA today. And this is the first time that Coleman has gone 3-0 to a batter here tonight. With that in mind, Tyler Blom will make a visit out to the mound. There's some standing. That's all I got for you in the Beavers bullpen. Cole Gidley kind of mimicking emotion down there, but he is in line to start again this week, along with Jake Kinney. (3-0) down and in. After not allowing a base runner since the first, Coleman has allowed 2 in a row with 1 out in the 4th. So Jalen Smith will try to continue what's been a decent stretch for him in his last 4 games. He has 5 hits, improving his batting average, and rockets that one back. Throws it high over to first. Not quite in time. Boy, the reaction high for AJ there. He had to quickly smack that glove to the infield dirt to make sure it didn't skirt into center field. Sends Lamar Briggs to first. Or to third, I beg your pardon, and Jalen Smith to first. And 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, couldn't quite get the out at first, but another good reactionary play off the mound from Coleman. So as you mentioned, Jeremy, make sure that didn't skirt by him. But runners on the corners here, 2 outs now. So first kind of pressure situation we've seen for Coleman so far.
Gosh, and a rare ball as well, as I get a second peek at it on our YouTube monitor here, that literally traveled along the dirt track in between home plate to the mound and kind of skipped up the mound on its way to the glove of AJ.
He and Jalen Smith have had some fun matchups so far this year. Smith hit a 3-run homer off him earlier this year. Coleman said after that he loves that kind of thing. He loves facing the best guys and having redemption opportunities, whether it's Jalen Smith or Drew Galassi. He wants to compete on the mound.
Even pitch here, fouled back. His best fastball of the night at 90. It's right around where he's topped out this year. Has gotten up to 91. so far. One and two on Adrian Guzman. Runners on first and third with 2 outs in the fourth. Already 2-0 Beavers. Runner in motion to second, and Blom with that runner on third will hang on. So now the Mammoths looking to make something happen here for an offense that's been kept fairly quiet through the first few innings of play tonight. A lot of credit goes to A.J. Coleman there. 2-2, going to be a tough play for Lynch. High charity hop for him. Speedy runner at first. He's safe. And that will score a run. 2-1 in the fourth.
And thank the wheels of Guzman there. Just barely beating out the throw. I think the entire Beavers infield thought they had him.
This has not been a Westside team that has struggled to score runs recently. They put up 10 versus the Beavers a couple days ago. That one skips past Guzman, and now we're tied. Jalen Smith scratches home plate. First and second with 2 outs, station-to-station baseball. This Mammoths team jumped out to a 5-0 lead in the first game of the scheduled doubleheader on Saturday before the rains came versus the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. That lead was blown in the end. Johnny Brandenthal was rolling through 4 innings, had only given up a few base runners, got a double play to end the 4th inning as well. But then a 9-batter 5th inning made the game a lot closer. And then 2 home runs in the 6th before Adam De La Cruz was at the plate and saw lightning for the first time.
There have been a couple of 2-strike connections from Woolly Mammoth hitters in this inning. Started with Lamar Briggs.
The changeup pulled in for strike one by Tyler Blom. The Mammoths pen has nobody warming, so it looks like Lokinen will at least get one more inning. 1-1 curveball kept away. 2-1 on McGee now.
The addition of that changeup for A.J. Coleman, a pitch that he said kind of got away from him in college, beginning to rediscover it and having confidence in 3 different pitches. It's been important.
Boy, did that fastball have a lot of movement on it. Cut to the inner third of the plate as McGee stared at it for strike 2.
And right in tandem with that change pitches, when utilized successfully, really feed off one another.
That's a big pitch right here with 2 outs. The 2-2 fluttered the other way. It'll roll foul. Two and 2 on McGee, the first baseman here tonight. Norberto Navarro, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 4th. He would be the 8th man to come to the plate quietly against Coleman. Another curveball. McGee stared it straight into the glove again. And it's another 3-2 count. Second 3-ball count we've seen in the inning against A.J. Coleman. He had recorded 7 straight outs heading into the 4th, an 8th to begin it. Then the single by Briggs, the walk by McKinley. Fielder's choice to Smith, the single by Guzman driving in a run, and the latest signal by Nick Caruso, which tied this game up at 2. There's the 5th punch out, and Big Fashion is trying a couple more.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee.
With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Hello. Lovely home, by the way, but it looks like you could use some new flooring.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Be wise and call the Carpet Guys.
A little musical chairs here in between innings at the ballpark on Italian-American Heritage Night here today. Greg Lokinen out for his 5th inning of work. Who do you think's going to win here? Is it the red shirt or the blue shirt? Ooh, red shirt's trying to sneak one off here. Oh. Landed right there. And there you go. Jake wearing the Beavers shirt here today will take home your musical chairs at the ballpark. Well, this is Jenna Rose's day. What percentage Italian are you?
Are you about to out me right now? Feels like 100%.
Okay.
We'll just keep it there. Feels
Okay.
like 100. My dad had to, come in and water me down a bit, but it's fine.
So
on the mother's side.
So no homemade lasagna for the crew here today? Or?
No, but we do make a pretty mean lasagna.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll use leftover meatballs instead of just getting ground meat. So it has like the veal in it, and it's like marinated in the sauce. We'll use that from a pasta before, so it's just like, the texture, everything, the cheese, the layering, all strategic, Jeremy. Family sauce.
You're sounding like you're opening up a restaurant here in Jenna Rose's corner kitchen or something. Norberto Navarro can't get out of the way of that one as that's Blum, I beg your pardon, Rutledge. Try it one more time. Jeremy has turned over the scorebook a bit late, but so lasagna, is that something you kind of learned to do over time, or?
Yeah, definitely something that I've learned to do because of my mom. I mean, so my Nona, which is her grandmother, is fresh off the boat, came over so they would have all their vegetables in their garden. My mom and I actually picked like a ton of vegetables today. So, I mean, everything has just been passed down in the family. It's always interesting to hear about my mother's childhood, the way she grew up.
Yeah, you brought us some vegetables that
did.
One day.
Cucumbers,
yes.
Yeah. We have so many. It's so crazy. I tried to build like a cucumber cabin today because we had like 10 of them, but they kept collapsing. But
0-1 on Tyler Blum, runner on first base to begin things as this one fouled off once again. So can you speak a little bit for us, or I'm going to put you on the spot?
A little bit.
What do we got?
Okay, so I can just introduce myself.
Okay.
All right. So, io sono Gianna, piacere di conoscerti.
Wow. Okay. Fly ball to left field. Blum chasing it to the foul pole. That's going to land at the base of the warning track there. Rutledge to third base. Runners on second and third to begin the fourth. And boy, Blum pounded that baseball as this Beavers offense has a bit of a mean streak in them to begin the fourth after this game was tied up. So what did you say there?
So I said, my name is Jenna. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, cool. Any other traditions that you'd like to share? Any desserts mixed into that?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'll just talk about the desserts really quick. It gets pretty insane for Christmas. We actually start baking cookies in like September.
Wow.
And we freeze them.
Really?
So we'll make a ton of different stuff.
Like the dough or the actual cookie?
Like the actual cookie.
Okay.
So that gets pretty intense. We were jarring tomatoes last year. We had a ton in the garden. I mean, we freeze everything. Our freezer is literally just like a ton of vegetables, cookies, some meat.
So how do you do you bake them again? How do you unthaw those?
No, so it literally is like one of those vacuum sealers. So
Okay.
it's like completely fresh when you
Huh.
take it out of the freezer
Well, that's
for
pretty
Christmas time.
That's sweet. That's really
Yeah. No, I'll definitely have to bring you guys some since.
Ball called a strike. They'll pick back to third and call him out. Collier Rutledge gunned down over there. Ed Campanella with a stare for the base pass umpire. I don't think he exactly agreed with that out. So that is the first out. 1-1 on Connor Bagneski as well here. Keyshawn Lynch would be next. Hit by pitch and a double to begin this fourth inning. Now the first out. Even pitch is low and away. So anything to really leave us with there? Any other riveting facts?
Oh gosh, this is so gross. I don't know why this came to mind first, but my mom and her sister, so it was like a fresh off the boat thing, like what they would cook, and they would literally have like a lamb's intestine, and they would each be holding one end in the basement and have white wine in it to clean it out to make homemade Italian sausage.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, my mom knows all the recipes. When we go back to Italy, she'll start to remember, because we're from southern Italy, so it was kind of like slang Italian, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's hard to use when you go back to Italy now. When you're in northern Italy, they're like, what are you saying? But no, yeah, pretty fun stuff. And I'll have to bring you guys some cookies since we'll be baking in season.
I'm looking forward to that. That's Jenna Rose giving us our Italian facts here today on Italian American Nights. In the fourth inning of this game here today, Greg Loken, and not too happy that he walked Connor Bagneski, now puts runners on first and second. It could be worse. It could be bases loaded here in the fourth inning. But Rutledge picked off at third base after the hit by pitch and the double by Blum, which he clobbered down the left field line. Got in on the hands of Keyshawn Lynch as he fouls it back.
Buon pomeriggio, Jeremy. That's my Italian comments. Yeah, Jenna lets me know it's now buonanotte. It's nighttime now.
I'm going to leave that to you guys. I'm not going to try to intermingle into that right now. 0-1, fly ball to center. Briggs on the edge of the warning track. Going to make that catch. Bluffing is Blom as it cuts through Guzman and ends up in the hands of Smith. They can have a laugh because nobody advances, and runners will stay at first and second with 2 outs here in the fourth.
We talked about the trickle-down effects in a lineup when batters are connecting. The Beavers have certainly experienced both sides of that equation so far this season. The negative side of it when nothing's going right, and the positive side of it when it seemingly is batter after batter connecting right now.
LeBoy looks at strike one, pop out and a fly out for Christian here today. Roy Verdejo on deck. He's done a lot. First 2 runs on the board for the Beavers here today via the home run. Swing and a miss there. 0-2. 2 0-2 counts. Make it 3 actually for LeBoy that he's faced tonight. Both have ended in contact outs. Let's see what's in store here. A strikeout. Curveball from Loken and getting LeBoy and able to strand the leadoff base runners in the fourth. 2-2 our score.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're going to be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
For the past 35 years, Bell's Brewery has been inspired to brew beers that you can count on, not just for taste but quality. From Two-Hearted Ale to Oberon to new classics, the official Hazy IPA or the easy-drinking Golden Ale. Yes, Bell's Brewery has brewed inspired beers since 1985. Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. A.J. Coleman back out there for a fifth inning of work here tonight. Really good job to strand the base runners after what could have been a messy inning in the fourth. Leadoff hit by pitch to Collier Rutledge. He was eventually picked off at third base after the double by Blom put runners on second and third. Then the walk to Bagneski loaded, or could have loaded, the bases. Directly after that, pop out to center field to Keyshawn Lynch, and the strikeout to Christian LeBoy. Norberto Navarro will lead things off in the fifth inning. Tips in a 73-mile-an-hour curveball there. So 2 runs in the fourth against Coleman. Single by Briggs, fielder's choice by Smith. They both reached and touched home plate. 2-2, your tie score in the fifth inning now. And again, if you're just tuning in, the time limit has been adjusted according to the rain delay. We got 45 minutes of baseball in before the 45-minute rain delay, or here or there. First pitch at 7:07 here today. Play stopped at 7:45. That's going to nod its way through. Navarro has his first hit tonight, and that breaks up what's been a tough stretch for 7 through 9 today. Caruso does have a single and an RBI, but otherwise 4 strikeouts between Caruso, McGee, and Navarro 7 through 9 tonight.
We talked about just how important the bottom third of the order was in last night's game. And the Hoppers scored 8 runs against Utica. Seems like up and down the lineup, they were really connecting all throughout, but having depth to then turn that lineup over to the top is something that we've heard preached from the Woolly Mammoths so far, and at their best, that's what they've done.
Fastball outside at 87 to Logan Herring. He's been kept hitless tonight. A pair of ground balls, one back at A.J. Coleman. He's had to field, 3 balls?
Yeah.
So far here tonight?
He's used to it, though. Ground ball pitcher by nature.
1-0, popped him up. Will barely reach the outfield. Everybody going for this. Oh, no. Bagneski dropped the baseball. And he is out at second base, obviously, is Norberto Navarro. So I guess in a sense, nothing really changed on that play.
No, they got away with it, but Bagneski probably won't be happy with himself there. However, probably maybe just the first blemish on what's been a sparkling night so far for Connor Bagneski, both defensively and offensively, and did the right thing there. As a center fielder, you have priority over both the left fielder and right fielder and all of the infielders when they're drifting back and you're coming in naturally because you can see that ball better.
Nothing that Norberto Navarro could do. All he could was break towards second base. He was back to first because of that pop-out. And I guess the only difference for Logan Herring, it doesn't go into the book as a pop-out, just a fielder's choice, which is kind of funky to see. On a play like that, 1-0, bounce to Blom. Good job to keep it in front and steer McFarland back to first. We talked to Blom about that play last week on the pregame show on Sunday, I believe it was.
Wonder if the mark is gone from the forehead yet. You noticed
I
that
had
pretty
him.
instantly.
I had him pull off the hat.
Okay.
In the interview, it wasn't. I don't think as bad as it was the night of and the day after. 2-0 is low and in, but he said the training staff was kind of marveled that he wasn't on the ground / had a concussion. His manager kind of the same way. Just the carom itself was improbable how far it went. Over to the first baseman, McFarland, who was playing well off the first base bag, but still at least halfway down the line.
We mentioned the lineup turning over. Coleman getting set to venture through the order now for a third time, and that's when the batting average has been highest against him. Opposing batters hitting .353. Third time through the order off Coleman. Naturally, as a hitter, you start to adjust to what you're seeing.
3-1 dives low. Runners on first and second with one gone here in the fifth, and everybody laboring a bit more after the rain delay. Looks like Ed Cuevas warming up in the bullpen for the Beavers. Still no action in the Mammoths pen.
You mentioned it, Jeremy, in the fourth inning. Really is when we start to saw the first 3-ball counts against Coleman. And now the free passes beginning to get into the mix. That's something he has eliminated really throughout most of this season, down from last year. And that's when he's at his best, but hoping to settle back in here and get out of this inning at least. You see both pitchers cleaning the bottom of their cleats, just trying to make sure they have as much grip as possible. If you weren't with us for the rain that poured down earlier and forced about a 45-minute delay, Scott's ground crew did a nice job once again, but naturally that mound's still a little damp.
Looks like Danny Duffy is also headed to the Dodgers, another starting pitcher, 32 years old. So, again, not official, but trending towards getting the 37-year-old Max Scherzer, along with Trey Turner. Duffy heading from the Royals to the Dodgers. That was a long career for Duffy in Kansas City, 11 years.
Yeah, the Royals has some really good young pitchers coming up and through their system into the majors, getting some good experience.
1-0, line drive right to Verdejo. Boy, he misplayed it a bit as he had to hop and get it. I think it had more upward movement on it than Verdejo expected. And Lamar Briggs is smiling. I have a feeling it's because of the squeaker hit that he got in the fourth inning. He's like, I hit that one on the screws, 90 miles an hour off the bat, and I can't get rewarded there. How this game works sometimes.
It's frustrating. It's an up and down game.
Doesn't look like the game in downtown Detroit was delayed. Maybe very slightly, if that was the case, but they're in the seventh inning already. 6-1 Tigers over the Orioles. Runners on first and second with 2 outs in the fifth. The trade deadline tomorrow. I originally said it was Saturday, but regardless, maybe that's why you're seeing a few more moves here today. Team's not really waiting around. Now the 0-2, swing and a miss. Change up on the inner half. McKinley couldn't catch up. That's 2 strikeouts for him here tonight in the first of the fifth inning for A.J. Coleman.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free, and home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, I mean free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. We talked about this earlier. We saw Beatrice on the screen, who was recently named Miss Utica Teen USA. Next week, she'll be going for Miss Michigan Teen USA, and you can vote online for Beatrice. You can vote online for People's Choice winning that gets her in the top 15. That can be done on Facebook, on the USPBL page at Miss Michigan Teen USA, and also online, if you can just head over to the website. This might be the easiest way to do it, MissMichiganTeenUAA.com/vote. Again, that's MissMichiganTeenUAA.com/vote.
Good stuff. Greg Lokinen is still out there here in the 5th inning. If you would have had to guess that through the rain delay and kind of what we've seen from Lokinen here today, that he would still be out in the 5th, might be a bit surprising, but he's been able to reel things back together in the last few innings. Heck, he struck the first 2 batters out in the 2nd before things got interesting, and the rain came down with an 0-2 count to Christian the Boy with runners on 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. It was after a 7-batter inning in the 1st, capped off by a 2-run home run by Roy Verdejo.
Greg Lokinen, again, has been just unusually good against opposing batters 3rd time through the order. We mentioned the numbers going up against Coleman, 3rd time through the order, which is typically what happens, but for Lokinen, that average goes down, and more often than not, he does make it to the 3rd time through the order. So this isn't a limited sample size of pitches, as he starts off 2-0 against Verdejo, but has fought through adversity really throughout the course of this season. Rain has been a part of the narrative of Lokinen's season. His very first, what should have been his very first start, was canceled due to rain. It should have been a 2-7-inning doubleheader, turned into a 1-9-inning game, and had to battle through that. Then ultimately did get into the starting rotation and has done some good work since then, but Jeremy noted right off the bat the walks have been an issue over the past couple of starts. Trying to refrain from the free passes right now, but a 3-0 count.
Sparked inside with the 9-inning game. Kind of a reality usually Wednesday through Friday here in the USPBL. More often than not, you'll have those doubleheader days on Saturday. 6 innings each as Kyle Luger comes up. They're hoping for 6 to 7, or until he got to 100 pitches from Greg Lokinen here tonight. Campanella is hoping for 6 from AJ. We've seen Cuevas warming up. He has since stopped. Coleman just struck out the last batter in the 5th to strand a couple more base runners. Oh, 1 in for strike 2, so maybe we see Luger go 2 if he comes in the 6th inning for Greg Lokinen. Donovan Thacker will start tomorrow. The Mammoths play the Unicorns tomorrow at 7:05 Eastern on Fireworks Day. Johnny Breidenthal will start Sunday. That's a nice pitch. Curveball by Travis McFarland for strike 3.
It's a beautiful pitch to go to on the 0-2 count. And Jeremy, I think one of the reasons why Lokinen has been as good as he has been second, third time through the order is because his pitch sequencing depends, in his words, 110% on the hitter that he's facing. So not only are hitters trying to adjust to him, he's consistently adjusting to them and the situation at hand. So it's a constant mental calculator on the mound for Greg Lokinen.
Lefty on lefty matchup here as he's struck out 6 so far in this game. Jordan Rogers along with Josh Hancock are the 2 other available arms today if need be for the Mammoths. Feeding over to first as McGee had to come off the bag to get that one. Jeremy Otto alongside Jason Ross Jr. to bring the call today. Jenna Rose, the 3rd member of our team. We'll catch up with Ed Campanella on the field in just a little bit. Curveball away from Ron Williams Jr. there. He walked on 5 pitches in the first, also struck out in the 3rd inning. Briggs plays him fairly deep in center. Most of the outfielders do. Middle of the infield looking for that double play. The 2-0 away, 3-0 on the 6th place hitter here tonight for the Beavers. Fastball velocity has lost a little bit of gusto here in the 5th. That last one is at 84. Second consecutive. Will lead to the second walk here in the 5th.
Lokinen said he'd like to get the fastball up to 94, 95 by the end of the season. Right now, gathering himself.
And I think he sees Taylor Jellikowski popping out of the dugout and just kind of flustered the way his outing ends. Here today, takes the baseball away, and Kyle Luger will get another opportunity here today in a high leverage situation. Tie ball game, bottom of the 5th inning. Just 1 out. 2 runners have been walked in this inning for Deho and Ron Williams Jr. Let's see what Mr. Luger can do when we get back.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Kyle Luger looking to stay perfect so far. Hasn't given up a run or a hit. 2 innings of work thus far. No walks, 3 Ks. Pretty quick outings. 12 pitches and 16 pitches respectively. Hasn't pitched since the 18th of July. Got to take some of that with a grain of salt, though, because of all the rain we've had in the area, even affecting today's game.
A Georgia Gwinnett alum, Greg Lokinen, gives way to a Middle Georgia State University alum in Kyle Luger. Really primarily a 2-pitch mix for Luger, 2-seam fastball and curveball. Again, haven't seen a lot of him so far this year in the USPBL, so we're still learning about him on the fly as well as the distinctive delivery.
Got a ground ball right away. Guzman feeds to Navarro, over to McGee. Wow, Luger does exactly what the doctor orders in a tie game, erases the 2 walks here in the 5th inning with a 6, 4, and a 3.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Welcome to Team Talarico. Fans, sponsor of the USPBL, powered by UWM, Budweiser.
We're now joined by Beavers manager Ed Campanella. Going back to the second, it was a 1-2-3 inning for Coleman. Then came the rain delay, and he came back with another 1-2-3 inning. How did you keep him warm during the rain delay?
Well, AJ's a veteran. He knows. I mean, usually it's 40 minutes. Anything past 40 minutes, you probably go to the bullpen. But he kept telling me he's good, and he went out there and he battled.
And hot start in the beginning. We had the 2-run home run from Roy Verdejo. And Lokinen, he's a challenge. He's leading the league in strikeouts. What are you hoping to take advantage now amidst the pitching change?
Well, I mean, we just got to still keep having good at-bats, putting the ball in play. I mean, it's a tough field out there right now with the rain. And, I mean, it's going to be one of those games where we just have to grind out at-bats and see what this guy's got.
Thank you for your time. All right, sending it back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Jenna. Jeremy Otto back alongside Jason Ross Jr. Ed Cuevas taking over for A.J. Coleman here in the 6th inning. Coleman faced some base runners in the 4th and 5th. He had at one point retired 8 straight, however.
For Edgar Cuevas, who will take over in relief. Change up, 2-seam and slider mix. 3 pitches that he feels confident in, similar to A.J. Coleman.
Coleman gave up the only 2 runs of the game for this Mammoths offense back in the 4th inning. It was a single by Lamar Briggs, and the walk by McKinley, fielder's choice by Smith, put him on base. Single by Adrian Guzman scored Briggs, and then the single directly after that by Nick Caruso, the 2nd RBI of his USPBL career. Tied up the game at 2. Spencer McGee struck out with runners on 1st and 2nd to end the threat in the 4th. The Beavers scoring their only 2 runs on the 2-run home run to left center field by Roy Verdejo, his 4th round tripper of the year. First pitch fastball to Smith as he swings through it. One fastball away. The 12th appearance for Cuevas this year, all out of the bullpen. 17 2/3 innings of work, 4.07 ERA. Chisel job. Wow, what a snare for the first out.
That was pretty athletic. Had to really reach out, showing the arm extension there, Jeremy.
So the pitchers for the Beavers taking notice of what A.J. Coleman does.
Yeah, didn't take long for them to follow suit in terms of fielding that mound, which is kind of an underrated, difficult thing to do.
We saw that ball kind of go on the track between the home plate area and the pitcher's mound. Kind of scoot all the way down and up the chute into the glove of A.J. Coleman as it skirted up the front part of the mound. Fastball away to Guzman, 1-0. The changeup for Cuevas is one that you love to watch. One of those active live changeups. Hardy fastball in the first couple at bats here in the sixth, however. But it's a changeup with movement. Slider-like, I guess you could describe it to some extent. 1-1, there it is. Off the end of the bat to McFarland, 2 up and 2 down.
Avoiding barrels, changing eye levels, hitting different quadrants of the strike zone, whatever you want to call it. It's the name of the game as a pitcher, and those breaking pitches can more often than not lead to shallow pop-ups or ground outs just like that.
Well, don't forget to come out tomorrow for our Friday fireworks show. Enjoy the best fireworks show in town right after the game. Tomorrow will feature an exciting matchup between the Westside Woolly Mammoths and the Utica Unicorns. Gates open at 6. First pitch at 7:05 Eastern. Limited Fridays left this summer. You can head to uspbl.com or visit the Fifth Third Bank box office to get your tickets today. Caruso looks at a ball outside, 1-0. Plenty of good promotions coming up as well here in the USPBL. 1-0 to Caruso is outside. I know Jason is looking forward to Frozen Princess Day on Sunday.
We did touch on the movie Frozen last night and my affinity for that sequence of films.
Faith Night as well on Saturday. Peanut Free Night. Next Wednesday, Heroes Night, presented by Balfour next Thursday. Fireworks again that Friday. And the world-famous Superstars on Saturday. This is going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Cuevas. Lynch over to McFarland. And just like that, between Coleman and Cuevas, they've retired 5 straight, kind of picking up where Coleman left off between the end of the first and the start of the fourth.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
A little trivia going on the field here, quizzing some fans. Representatives, they're going for a Seco watch. Is that what PJ just said in my ear? Oh, that's pretty cool. One of the sponsors here at Jimmy John's Field. That's a nice prize. And it looks like that man just won. Congratulations. You get a nice Seco watch here today. 8-9-1 coming up for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers against Kyle Luger. You couldn't draw it up any better. One pitch, 6-4-3, double play off the bat of Nafi Mercedes, and he was out of the inning with one out already recorded in the fifth.
Luger got the ground ball that he and the Mammoths needed to sneak out of there and keep the score tied up at 2 apiece. Been an interesting evening into night now, 45-minute delay. Again, our time cap is 10:25, but been an airtight matchup, and we'll see if Luger can pick up where he left off.
Leading off for the Beavers, number 23.
Collier Rutledge, Tyler Blom, and Connor Bagneski, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men, 2 up here in the 6th inning. Kyle Luger reaching into a 2nd inning for the first time today. Obviously, technically 2/3 of an inning in the 5th. It felt like maybe much shorter than that.
That was just his 29th pitch thrown in the USPBL so far this season. That one number 30. But number 29 claims 2 outs.
High leg kick, the 1-0. Scoops in for strike 1 there. Sherry Luger says pitcher Kyle Luger's family watching from center line. Let's go, Kyle. Center line. Surrounded on all sides by Warren, Michigan, a local city around Jimmy John's Field if you're unfamiliar with the area. Spent a lot of time over there. My grandparents had a house right next to center line. 2-1 on Collier Rutledge. Chipped foul. Bottom of the order, the bottom 2 have done a decent job so far for the Beavers lineup and limited opportunities. They have struck out twice, but also reached base twice. Hit by pitch for Rutledge in the 4th. He reached 3rd, and then the double by Tyler Blom, which he hit real hard down the left field line. One of the best swings we've seen from him in a USPBL uniform thus far. Guzman has it. Boy, we haven't seen a play by Adrian Guzman here tonight. But he makes it look routine like he always does.
That's true. One of the best middle infielders in the USPBL. He and Roberto Navarro have manned the middle infield very well for the Westside Woolly Mammoths so far this year. Tyler Blom, the catcher, has commanded the staff of the Beavers well of late.
First pitch to Blom away. Connor Bagneski on deck. His on-base percentage just continues to get eerily higher. He's reached base 3 times again here tonight, and we'll have a shot, if this one is caught, to do so again right now. 2 up and 2 down. Single run scored in the 1st. Double in the 2nd. And a 3-1 walk in the 4th inning as well for Connor Bagneski.
4 consecutive multi-hit games now for Bagneski against Woolly Mammoths pitching.
Came in with a .600 on-base percentage and a .462 average. His ABs certainly aren't where a lot of the guys that have been here for a long time in terms of this year are reaching, but still, there's nobody that has had a start like this year.
Feels that he's not chasing pitches right now. Very selective in what he's swinging at.
And it's interesting to hear one guy to another, because I was also talking to Trevor McKinley, the right fielder for the Mammoths here tonight, a guy who is starting to tag a few more balls. Just missed a home run again the other day, was still able to get a triple out of it. But he said he was being too selective, which kind of caused him to take fastballs early in counts. That kind of echoed the sentiments of his manager, Taylor Dulakowski, as well. So there's that fine line, right?
Yeah, and the .462 batting average for Bagnetsky entering today. I beg your pardon, the .600 on base percentage entering today marks as the highest current in the USPBL. And he just rarely strikes out. Had only 3 strikeouts over his last 10 games entering today. Has hit the breaking balls very well. Comparatively, lefties have done better in that category than righties so far this season around the USPBL. But Connor just off to a steaming start.
Here's the 2-2. Line drive, he does it again. My goodness. His 3rd hits here today.
Now batting number 5, Keyshawn Lynch.
Keyshawn Lynch with a walk back in the 2nd inning. Also had a strikeout in the 1st and a pop out in the 4th. Christian LeBoy would be next. He's been held to a 0 for 3. Verdejo, on the other hand, has also been hot. Home run, single, walk.
Lynch, much like Bagnetsky, can't really shift on him strategically because he uses all fields well when he is connecting.
Tight lead for him, and late time was called. Tight lead for Bagnetsky. I was going to say over at first, kind of bluffing as that pitch was about to come home there. Oh, 1 away. 1-1 on Keyshawn Lynch now. Greg Lokinen starting this game and lasting through the rain delay as well. Kyle Luger in relief. First time he has gone to a 2nd inning. Bagnetsky bluffing again. This is a waddler. Smith waits on it. Has to hurry. Cannot get a speedy Keyshawn Lynch over at first base.
I was just talking to Keyshawn earlier today about his athleticism in general. Played a lot of basketball growing up and worked on the legs. There's quite a bit of workouts with fellow players at LA Fitness in his free time, but not so free time because they're always thinking about how to improve the craft, how to improve the body, and Lynch able to beat out the throw there.
And drafted in the middle rounds back in 2018. Spent a couple of years in the minor leagues. Now trying to make it back with time here in the USPBL. LeBoy, the 5th batter here in the 6th inning, as that fastball pumped in at 90 miles an hour by Kyle Luger. There is no other action right now in either bullpen. The Beavers are just kind of hanging out, standing down there, trying to get their legs loose. Been a lot of sitting with the rain delay as well as we hit 10 o'clock Eastern nearly. Curveball swivels inside, 1-1. Don't want to see Roy Verdejo in this 6th inning with the game tied.
No, not with the runner in scoring position.
Righty and righty matchup. Lynch able to get as big a lead as he wants over at first base with McGee playing behind him with that lead runner, Bagnetsky, at 2nd base. LeBoy has faced an 0-2 count in every other at-bat besides this one here in the 6th inning. Popped out in the 1st, flew out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. All those at-bats against Luukkonen. 1-2. Wow, slicing curveball. Got by LeBoy. And another decent outing for Kyle Luger. Has yet to allow a run in 3 appearances. He sees his first base runners in this one here tonight.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Well, you could win $250 plus 4 front row tickets to the USPBL Championship game on September 12th. Text Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Again, that's Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Visit ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for all the official rules on that contest. Spencer McGee, Norberto Navarro, and Logan Herring, your Zach Hart agency 3-men due up here in the 7th inning. That's 8-9-1 in the lineup for the Mammoths here tonight, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. Quietly, Coleman and Cuevas have combined for 5 outs in a row. Coleman and Cuevas sounds like a new law firm, huh?
That is true. And speaking of wonderful word combinations, you guys just played a little Italian hangman.
That's true.
In the booth.
That's amore was the final result of that. Jenna was struggling with it.
That's amore.
She was overthinking it. She thought we
were speaking English.
No, she thought we were kind of scheming behind the scenes with it, but when she was away. McGee has struck out twice tonight. Bottom 3 in the order have struck out a combined 4 times. Beavers pitching with 6 strikeouts combined. Coleman had 5 through 5. Cuevas rims it away. Actually 6 through 5. All those strikeouts were credited to AJ so far. Two 2-0 on Spencer McGee. Middle of the infield spread out. Perfect position for Lynch. Backs up. Fires to first. A bit low. McFarland with a solid stretch. 1 up and 1 down, and 6 straight outs retired by Beavers pitching now.
Lynch did well to keep that ball in front of him at short. Again, as you mentioned, a bit low on the throw, but picked out well.
Now batting number 12, Norberto Navarro.
Navarro with a strikeout, looking in a single back in the 5th. As that fastball at 87 ranges away. We've seen a little bit more fastball tonight from Cuevas than we're used to. We talked about it when he came in, 50% changeup coming into play today, 49% fastball, so dead even, but it's been majority of fastball so far tonight.
You don't often see the percentage of breaking balls being higher than fastballs.
Ooh, there's that Bugs Bunny changeup by Norberto Navarro.
Mentioned this Westside team overall being a good breaking ball hitting team, especially some of the key guys in the heart of their lineup.
There's another changeup. In for strike 2 on Navarro. Logan Herring, the top of the order, due next, and then it would be Trent Bauer. This inning could continue here. Got a bat on it and able to poke it into right field. Two-seamer slicing away from Norberto, but he got enough on it.
And Navarro statistics are kind of contrasting to how you would normally think. He's actually hitting a higher average off-breaking pitches than fastballs so far this year, but timed that one up well and found the gap.
Herring today, pair of ground balls and a fielder's choice at bats in the first, third, and fifth innings thus far. It's 2 runs off 6 hits and no errors for the Mammoths, 2 runs off 7 hits and no errors for the Beavers. So according to that, could be a bit more in terms of runs scored, you'd think, but not the case so far here tonight. Base runners, but these pitchers stranding them for the most part. Arching swing and a miss by Herring, and he bites himself, edging out of the box to try to regroup there.
You think back to the most recent big situation when Lokinen got into some trouble, and then Luger came in and was able to get the double play to end that inning despite runners in scoring position. Now we near our time frame at past the 10 o'clock hour now. That 10:25 mark is what we're eyeing when it comes to the 2.5-hour limit. Had some tight games of late in the USPBL.
Yeah, a lot of games kind of settled around this point.
1-run games, tie games.
One. Wow, that pinged hard off the protector on the right leg, I think.
Sounded like it.
Of Tyler Blanc. Maybe right off that knee, kind of where it juts out. And Norberto Navarro takes advantage as he scampers to second base. Logan Herring with a 2-1 count as well. So another Mammoths hitter ahead of a count. We've not seen many walks here tonight. That's the one thing that A.J. Coleman will probably be somewhat happy about. He still walked 2, which is kind of still above what he averages, right around, or I guess right even where he averages at 2. But at the same time, he walked 3 last game and gave up 6 earned runs, 2 earned runs here tonight through 5 innings of work. And 5 innings in the USPBL is usually a decent gauge of where you're at in terms of a starting pitcher. That's kind of where a lot go to, 5 or 6. We saw it the other day if Jake Kinney does Jake Kinney things and has a no-hitter through 4, 5, 6, 7 innings, and Campanella will keep him out there. And I think in general that's the case. We saw Ty Hensley throw a no-hitter last year, but these guys also need work as well in terms of the relievers. So unless a guy is dazzling or throwing in front of scouts, then 5 or 6 is on a regular as Herring goes down looking, his 9th strikeout of the year. And now Trent Bauer will try to untie this game. here in the 7th inning. That is the one exception to the 2.5-hour time limit, is if this game would remain tied, then we would go to extra innings. So Cuevas punches his first strikeout into the book, the 7th overall for the Beavers tonight, and that nearly clipped Trent Bauer. Looking to see if a seam or two came off the uniform. Reminder to tune in tomorrow. Again, Friday fireworks at the ballpark. We'd love to see you here. Our Friday crowds have been some kind of special. Standing room only last week. So if you're looking to go to a game tomorrow, maybe pre-order your tickets. Change up outside to Bauer. That game will start 7:05 Eastern Time.
And typically we see fans lined up across the street.
Yes.
After the game in anticipation of what's always a special Friday night here at the USPBL.
Skipping away. Blom on the ready to throw if need be, but Navarro statues himself at second base. Some stretching for Cole Stanton. That's not a surprise. He was an arm we thought we would see again here today. Certainly ready to go if he was needed on Sunday. That wasn't the case. 3-0 on Bauer now. A little blubber foul that goes off the high screen. Back towards the Cabana Suites here at the ballpark. A little bit of pooling water down the baselines, but good job of the grounds crew to get things back in order. And they had to hustle out there quickly.
Definitely
I mean, that was a rain that kind of just came so
right
quickly.
Up. 3-ball count here on Bauer. Certainly a hitter's count now at 3-1. When you watch his swing, there's a pre-pitch movement in that bat, which can be negative if it's excessive. You see it right there, but all a part of his timing mechanism as a hitter.
3-1, another changeup slicing away. Full count on Bauer now, the left fielder here tonight.
And as a pitcher, your job is to disrupt that timing that Bauer is trying to establish. Now runs the count full.
Bauer looking for his first hit tonight, had a walk in the 5th. Another 3-2 count. Second 3-ball count to him today. And he will coax himself his second walk in a row to put runners on first and second with a dangerous part of this lineup coming up. Briggs, McKinley, and Smith all hitting 3-4-5 tonight.
Feels like a key opportunity as we're kind of winding down 10-10 the time now, Eastern time, and 10:25 is the mark we're looking at, so almost chasing the clock. This feels like one of those clutch moments. Mar Briggs has really worked on the power in that lower body entering this year and found a level of power that he hasn't experienced in the past.
Yeah, now it's just been a lot of singles, a double mixed in here or there. We saw those 4 home runs in a stretch of about a couple weeks, but roped another ball to left field, kind of separating him from 3 for 3. Hit it right at Roy Verdejo. That made Verdejo leap a little bit when he expected it would come right to him. Struggled against lefties so far this year. He's 0 for 12. 0 for 12 with 3 strikeouts compared to a walk.
For Briggs, it's about not steering away from his plan at the plate. And you mentioned with the exception of lefties, he's done that of late.
1-1, little fly ball. Dinking back behind the second base position is Nafi Mercedes as he captures the 3rd out here in the 7th inning. Good job by Cuevas to navigate out a potential tough inning here in the 7th. He strands 2 as this game remains 2-2 after the top of the 7th inning. Time for your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch here today. Take me out to the ball game once again in 3, 2, 1. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch. These teams could both use some runs. 2-2 the score.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Another new pitcher on the mound here for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Colin Ledbetter coming into the game. Another expected arm in relief of Kyle Luger. We saw the first jam for Luger that he pitched in this year through 3 innings of work, but was able to strand a couple base runners off back-to-back singles here in the 6th inning. Ledbetter has been a good arm out of the back end of the bullpen for Taylor Jellikowski and John Dombrowski. He's pitching in his 13th game, all in relief, 3.67 ERA. Has struggled with the walks a bit, 11 walks to 12 strikeouts, but comes in a big situation here. Bottom of the 7th inning in a tie score. That time limit looming as well. We'll see if the Beavers are able to drive in a few runs here. Roy Verdejo, Travis McFarland, Ron Williams Jr., your Zach Hart agency men due up here. And Smith can't pick that one up to begin the 7th, so Verdejo reaches.
And ball just kind of ate up a diving Smith. Slow developing play. Always harder than it looks. And now getting back to the subject of Ledbetter, 2-seam fastball, slider, and changeup mix to keep an eye on as we get a pinch runner, Elijah Salaya.
Verdejo with decent speed, but Salaya with probably even better speed. Both can play the outfield, so maybe that plays into Campanella's thinking as well. Austin Shoemaker, the only other available player on the bench here tonight. And immediately, Salaya going to get a chance to stretch out his legs.
Nice jog over to second. He's another former two-sport athlete, played baseball and basketball growing up.
Travis McFarland with a walk, a fielder's choice, and a ground out here today. And remaining on third base is Roy Verdejo, or Salaya, I beg your pardon. Now the go-ahead run on third base right now here in the 7th inning.
Dream start to the 7th. Relief pitcher fresh into the game. And some early contact squeaking through the left side of the infield. Could be a matter of manufacturing a run here. You don't need anything special, just a swing of the bat and potentially a ball that gets through either side of the infield could bring home Celaya at third.
The 1-0. Tried to check his swing, and it looks like he did.
Williams drew the walk earlier, but had to face a lefty, and Greg Lokinen has struggled overall the season against lefties. Righties have been the more favorable matchup for Williams Jr. More of a contact guy.
Fastball at 92 by Ron Williams Jr. there. Fastball reaching up to 94 so far this year. It averages 91. Good spin and movement on it as well. Infielders playing in just a couple steps in front of the cut of the grass in this scenario here. This is the largest jam we've seen in this game, at least to start an inning. Seems like the rallies have come with 1 or 2 outs so far. Now the 2-1. Fly ball to the gap in right center field. McKinley galloping to get that one. He will make it over the shoulder, but more importantly, the go-ahead run will score here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 3-2 Beavers.
Jeremy, the art of small ball is not lost. Beavers put themselves in a prime position there to bring home the go-ahead run and have done just that.
And now Nafi Mercedes will try to break up what's been a rough day at the plate so far. Hit into a double play that ended the 5th, flew out in the 1st and 3rd innings as well. First pitch to Mercedes. Slider off the plate outside, 1-0. Throws that slider 35% of the time. The two-seam fastball 62%. Fastball in, gave up a run that was unearned in his last appearance. So 2 appearances in a row of unearned baseball. And that includes 4 innings of work. He had a 3-inning bullpen appearance back on the 15th of July. The 2-0. Fly ball to left field, hanging up there for Bauer. To the track he goes, looks up, and it's foul. Oh boy, one of the better balls we've seen Nafi Mercedes hit since being here. Travis McFarland feels the wind on that one as it just goes foul.
When he does show the power, it's typically to left field. That one had the distance, but just winded off foul.
Mercedes hitting 7 today. 7 through 9 have reached twice. A hit by pitch and a double to Rutledge and Blom consecutively. 2-1 slider off the plate outside. 3-1 on Nafi Mercedes now. Fastball pounded away. Caruso discards the mask quickly. McKinley also trying to get over as far as they can, but that's way up there near the drink rail, and that young lady picks up the baseball. Three and 2 on Mercedes. Nice battle with Colin Ledbetter here. Strokes one to right center. Lamar Briggs, McKinley. It's McKinley for the second straight out And now McFarland will advance to second base. That was a lot closer than he would have liked, I'm sure. The ball escaped Navarro at second base. Well, join us Sunday for Frozen Princess Day presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. Meet your favorite characters from Frozen right here at Jimmy John's Field before the game, featuring your favorite Frozen theme songs as well. Kids 12 and under will also receive a free scoop of ice cream.
Ooh.
How about that? We could go for that right now to
I could use that right about now.
tie us over on a drive home. And don't forget to stop by the Kids Club table for a craft of your favorite snowman friend, Olaf. The Westside Woolly Mammoths will host the Utica Unicorns for Sunday Fun Day. This Sunday, gates open at noon, first pitch at 1:05 Eastern Time. Spoiled away as Collier Rutledge lifts that one foul. Tyler Blom, the bottom of the order on deck here. He roped a double down the left field line back in the third. Ground ball through. Jalen Smith at third base. They'll send McFarland around third. Bauer just picking it up in left field. And Collier Rutledge sliding in for his third double of the year and also the more important 9th RBI as well. And it's 4-2 Beavers here in the bottom of the 7th.
Rutledge had a 3-hit game against the Mammoths last week. College numbers would tell you there's extra base power in his bat. It's been a matter of finding the consistency so far this year offensively. That time finds the insurance run that might be enough for this Beavers team.
Slider past Tyler Blom there. Connor Bagneski looking to add to his outlandish 600 on base percentage coming into play. He's probably up to 700 after his 4 at-bats here today. Flip to right. McKinley is in for the third out. 7 more batters come to the plate in the 7th. And just barely the Mammoths squeak out another inning before time expires here on the USPBL Network.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Time for your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers mascot race. And early on, Petey Pickup feeling a little feisty here, trading some paint. And now he's running along the outside, and Petey Pickup is going to speed his way home past the third base bag. Petey Pickup, the winner of your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers mascot race here today. And right now, a save situation for Cole Stanton as he takes the baton from Ed Cuevas, who stranded a couple base runners in the 7th inning after a 1-2-3 frame in the 6th.
One last gasp here for the Woolly Mammoths lineup. That previous half inning, we saw the Beavers get rolling right away with a couple of base hits. Moved runners over via the sacrifice fly. And a little small ball got the job done, and then the insurance run after a hit up the middle from Rutledge on an RBI double. But the man on your screen right now. Cole Stanton, again, as Jeremy mentioned, hoping to snag a save here. You can expect to see the four-seam fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup out of Stanton.
Stanton with 2 saves on the year, 7 walks to 18 strikeouts to go along with a 1.04 ERA. He did give up 2 earned runs in his appearance 2 outings ago on July 17th. Those were his 2 only earned runs this year. He had 3 other unearned runs in the beginning part of the season. Appearance number 14 here tonight. And he faces a hitter who hasn't gotten a hit so far in this game, Trevor McKinley. But watch out, one swing of the bat from him could make this a 1-run game. 93 had him checking the swing, but called for strike 1. McKinley has struck out 2 times so far tonight. Everybody back with nobody on and 2 outs. The outfielders really spread out, shading McKinley slightly to the right. LeBoy hugging the line. First and third baseman playing no doubles depth here in the 8th. Shutters past the glove of Tyler Blom there.
McKinley has some power in his bat. Responsible for 2 out of the 3 triples hit in the USPBL this season. Has a homer as well.
Yeah, that last triple certainly could have been a home run. Scorched off the yellow pad, which anything above that is a homer. McKinley himself thought it was out of the ballpark. Him, Smith, and Adrian Guzman, your Zach Hurt agency 3-men due up in the top of the 8th inning. Do or die for the Mammoths, as this will be the last half inning unless they catch up and tie this game and or take the lead. Two runs in the 4th for the Mammoths, 2 runs in the 1st, and the 7th for the Beavers, making the difference so far in this game. Now the 1-2. Popped him up. Blom has a chance. Tyler Blom kept the mask on, celebrates. He points to his mask now.
There's a lot of energy coming from the dugout there, cheering him and imploring him on to making that grab.
Jalen Smith will come up for the 4th time today. And if you don't know why we're laughing and why the reaction, it's because the ball that went off the face of Tyler Blom last week careened all the way to Travis McFarland and landed him in the 8th play on SportsCenter that night. He just wrapped up the game and his friends were texting him, "Hey, you were on SportsCenter." He's like, "What? The game just ended. How did they get it?"
That was quite the night, and the following morning as well. SportsCenter not top 10 list.
League, the Westside Woolly Mammoths
Certainly
against
a
the
memory
Birmingham Bloomfield.
to go in the book.
1-1, fly ball rope to left, chasing Verdejo back. Out of here! Jalen Smith has made it a 1-run ball game all of a sudden.
Mentioned he had the 3-run homer off Beavers pitching earlier this season. Finds one in the clutch and makes it a 1-run game.
He's certainly a guy that bombs the ball in batting practice. His 2nd home run of the year. 2nd run he has scored in this game. And now some more new life possibly for this Mammoths team. Well, stick around for the Auto Lab postgame show. Jenna Rose will catch up with our Rochester University player of the game. It seems anytime Jenna heads down to the field, more runs are scored.
That's kind of the thing around here, isn't it?
She left us just before the start of this inning. Adrian Guzman looks at a pitch outside. When she was working with me last week, what, Matt? Was there I think there was a game where there was 3 more innings played after she had left, and Matt actually called some of those innings with me. On the ground, third base side, Ron Williams Jr. scoops it up. There is not the second out. Rolls up the arm of McFarland, so an error allows Guzman to reach.
Things get a little scratchy now from an infield standpoint in the top of the 8th here, and the Woolly Mammoths will bring what would represent the go-ahead run to the batter's box in Nick Caruso.
Colton Horner is the lone man available on the bench. He does have some good pop and has hit for average this year. Not sure if they'll want to go to him or not. Nick Caruso had an RBI single back in the 4th inning. That's the first error of the ball game. There's been 17 combined hits, and with that said, only 7 combined runs to this point between these two teams. Caruso with that Gary Sheffield-like setup, not too as dramatically swinging that bat, but
certainly reminiscence. Yeah, he's got the pre-pitch bat movement. Talked about that earlier.
Blom got a piece, doing all he could as he scattered back to his feet there. Gary Sheffield head-to-head some of the strongest arms or wrists, I should say, in the league. Can we get a rotations per minute on that that stance? Big pitch here. Run already in, and the runner on first dips in the breaking ball for strike 2. Has both the slider and the curve. That one, the slider, throws the slider a bit more, 27.5%. Curve gets the better spin of the two, as you'd expect. 2-2, swing and a miss. Just the fastball by him at 92. And now Spencer McGee, the last shot here in the 8th inning. McGee 0 for 3 tonight. Pair of strikeouts and a ground out.
McGee has slid down to that 8th spot in the lineup, but right now that doesn't matter. All about the situation at hand and sticking to his plan in the batter's box. Has shown the power this season, showed it in Indiana Tech as well.
Fastball in at 93. Him and Ledbetter have had some of the best fastballs tonight. More the command control guys to start this game, E.J. Coleman and Greg Lokinen. The velocity flashing at the end of this game. The 0-1, 92, arching swing and a miss. This 8th inning brought to you by Valpak. Beavers trying to hold on to a 4-3 win here in the 8th. This will be the last half inning unless the Mammoths can come back. Stanton delays the 0-2 in there for strike 3. The slider gets him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts by Cole. Stanton gets Caruso and McGee and survives this 8th inning, which saw a 1-out solo shot tagged by Jalen Smith to left field, his second home run of the year. Guzman reached on the error. He stranded at first, and the Beavers pick up a big victory here tonight. 4 runs off 10 hits and 1 error, 3 runs off 7 hits, and no errors for the Westside Woolly Mammoths here tonight. Jenna Rose with our Rochester University Player of the Game when we get back here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
What's the Beaver? We got that winning fever. Clap for the Beaver.
The Carpet Guys give you warehouse direct pricing that will knock your socks off.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing.
Let the Carpet Guys bring the store to your door with prices that will knock your socks off. Be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Auto Lab post-game show. We are now joined by Beavers left fielder Roy Verdejo, who is our Rochester University player of the game. Going back to the first inning, you had a 2-run home run. You went up against Greg Lokinen, who is leading the league in strikeouts right now. What was your approach to the plate that made you so successful?
Just stay inside the ball and think right center, because if you try to pull everything, you'll just jam yourself. But I just had the mentality, just like stay with the pitch, stay inside the ball, and just go the other way with it, because with the left-hander, it'll tail away, and just everybody will tend to pull off and hit a small grounder. So I decided, like, you know what, let's just go all right center. So that, yeah.
Yeah, and you had Connor Bagneski on base for you. He's been a new addition to the Beavers lineup, but he's been killing it offensively, and he has the wheels. So what's it like to have him as a teammate?
It's good. I like it because it sets a tone for the offense. Honestly, having just the leadoff guy get on and everything, knowing that seeing pitches and everything gets the next guy ready, and just it's good to have him. He has speed, gets to second, so you always have an opportunity for an RBI because of him.
And we were hit with rain in between the second and third inning, 45-minute break. How did you stay ready during that time?
Just stay loose. I just stretch and everything. I just kind of have the same mentality like I did in the first inning. Just keep the same approach. Don't change anything just because of the delay. Stay loose and everything. Stay relaxed. It's going to be a while, so just mainly staying loose.
And in the latter stages of the game with your single, you're able to get on base. Elijah Salaya came in to fill for you and cross the plate. What's your repertoire like with Salaya? Is it nice to have a pinch runner out there?
Yeah, but it's also fun to run the bases, but it's also fun to see other guys get their opportunity to show, whether pinch running, just playing baseball, honestly. And even though this is a development league and everything, just seeing guys like get the opportunity, whether it's pinch running or hitting or something, just getting their AB so they can stay ready during the future.
That's what the USPBL is about. Roy, great work today, and thank you for your time.
No problem.
All right, and thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We'll see you tomorrow.